I remember a 19th century saying that painting is 90% drawing. And the longer I've worked at this, the more I see that that is true, that drawing is everything. And the first notion I'd like you to get out of your head is the idea that drawing has anything to do with lines. People think, oh, drawing, that's drawing, moving a stylus over a surface, a narrow line that makes one shape different from another. That's one way to do it, but you can also draw using big shapes. But in the end, what drawing is, it's not even necessarily just how you show forms. It is the totality of the artwork. It is everything. I mean, if you take away color and maybe value, then everything else I think falls under the umbrella of drawing. And these images are ones I just quickly pulled up as examples I think of good drawing, and there a wide range of different kinds of artwork. Um, Here's the one that you might recognize from another lecture that is entirely abstract that I think is a very good drawing. It's very interesting to me. I wish I could be more articulate than that, but I can't. I think, yeah, this is a Sheila drawing. May or may not be, but it has a clarity, or I mean, one thing that I think all of these have in common is a clarity, a simplicity of design. Because good drawing is essentially good design, not only the three-dimensional aspect of what you're drawing, but the two-dimensional as well, the arrangement of shapes and the world that the stylization creates. Like this, this image and this Aang, of course, they exist in different universes, completely different assumptions about reality are being made. Yet they're both, to me, very startling, amazing images. And the amount of if you look at this image, you might first think, well, it's quite realistic, but it's not. It's extremely stylized. Even if you put a group of photographs, and that's one thing you can do to study an artist or a genre of art to get what is in common to all of them is put a whole bunch of images into a folder and look at them in thumbnail view. And there you will see what they have in common and how they depart from naturalism. Um, if you took a whole bunch of Aang's drawings or Bouguereau or any artist that you want, that you might think is, wow, that's quite realistic, and see that they are not. So what are the choices that he was making here? What was he suppressing? What is he playing up? Gets back to the idea of contrast again. He wanted to eliminate what was unimportant and paint very precisely what he thought was important. And those decisions, to me, are drawing decisions. And by drawing, I don't mean the shape of things. It's everything about it. Oh yes, I think the tones and the colors, that falls outside of drawing, but that could have been just about anything. If you just made um, a find edges command on that, it would still have its power to me. You could bleed all the color out of it you want, make it black and white. It would still tell its story. Um, some people talk about drawing, and this gets back to my lecture on photography and tracing a little bit. um, that if you take a timeline or a line of, okay, here is the end of your life. Here you are a master draftsman, you're hokusai. Here is where you're very much beginning. Now, a lot of people think good drawing is getting all the shapes in the right place, getting things in the right place. Well, to me, that's about right here. That's about the first weekend. Anybody who can sit down and copy the shapes of what they see. But this, designing this, takes a lifetime. That's out here. That's out here. And these different steps along the way, I think, are as you understand more and more about the objects that you are painting. When you first start out painting and drawing, most of the people have the stylization of, if you were to paint a head, the face is gigantic compared to the head. As you know from art school, the eyes go in the middle from here to here. Most people have them in the 3/4 bit because, well, that's more important. So what you know about something and what you think is important is wrong for naturalistic art. So in order to get rid of this, you completely subject yourself to the shapes that you see. I only draw what is in front of me without editing, without doing anything. Well, that's a great way of getting around the beginner's problem, but sometimes I think it lasts a little bit too long. So we go from getting the right shapes. Here we're to the first stop on this long railroad, and now that we can do that, what do we go from here? Then you start deciding things. You start designing them, essentially. All of these images are highly artificial creations. Here's a caricature. Sometimes I think caricature and animation are some of the most demanding and excellent art forms. And if you're a young artist and have a chance to go into a particular area of study, and you want to be an illustrator, I would recommend animation, because the demands on an animator are extreme, and you have to understand what's going on, and you quickly move beyond this point of getting the shapes in the right place, and you're given very simplistic tools to try to tell a story. Here's a drawing. I believe this is a Ridley Scott drawing, of all things, but I think it's one of his storyboards for Alien. But to me, it's very simple. It tells its story very well. It's nicely designed. What is included, what is not. The overall effect to me is pleasing, and it functions very well. So what I was saying about animation, I'm not saying that, okay, you're going to do work that looks stylistically like animation drawings or background paintings the rest of your life, but the training itself is, I think, a very much fundamental, and how animation has its basis in academic drawing, Renaissance drawing, volumetric drawing, is something that would really form a very good basis for any place you might choose to go within the realm of naturalistic art. So this is a Van Gogh. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's very crude," but no, to me it isn't. And if somebody, I don't know, it's very difficult to argue that, yes or no. You either see it or you don't. Um, so anyway, the main point I'd like to get to is, and for my own work, I started painting first, and the discipline of drawing has only come much, much later. I didn't start doing artwork until I was, I mean, seriously, until I was about 23. I did, art in high school and stuff like that, but never really thought it went anywhere, and got interested in art through industrial design. Um, so masses of drawing I never really did as a kid, and I've been struggling with it. I am quite, opposite to what most people, that they have a more facility for drawing, and painting comes more difficult to them. But I could always make a value structure, understood value pretty well, but everything else has been a struggle. So I'm trying to save you some time and some heartache by saying anything you can do to improve your drawing. And by drawing, I'm using it in the widest possible sense. Your design sense, your ability to compose things, your ability to use contrast, the way I was talking about in the other lecture. The ability to choose what to show and what not to show. All that comes under drawing. And it just so happens that using a pencil on paper is a very quick and easy and portable and flexible, inexpensive way of doing a lot of drawings, of going from beginning to end of a drawing many, many times. So that's why it's a good way to practice. You could do it all with a Wacom and paint, all using shapes. That's just fine too. Um, but drawing is everything. So I'll stop harping on it now.